Alrighty. So we're in an interesting. I'm in an interesting position at the particular moment where where I've got a lot to do, and I was supposed to get it done before the Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 6. I'm sorry, Battlefield 6 beta, and I didn't do it. And I sat there and fucking blew my motherfucking head off playing this beta, and I loved every second of it. I got my complaints, but I loved every second of it. Anyway, Diggs and Asian GTG are on me, being like, "Yo, you got to get to this backlog, so I need you to get on this shit." So that's why we're here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom, and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Big ups to Chio. Let's go. So hopefully you guys are doing all right. Obviously, given the date that's on the video, but given when I'm telling you that I'm recording this, there's a major disconnect. I've got this huge backlog. I've been talking about it for a while on Just a Thought, or I'll name the segment later. And now I'm working through it, and I was supposed to do it. I was supposed to get this stuff done before the Battlefield 6 beta, and I didn't do it because it crept up on me, because life comes at you fast. And once I got into that beta, bruh, I was locked in, and holy shit, man. A lot of cool people. Had a great time. Had a fantastic time over those last few days. So that's where I was at. Anywho, you guys aren't here for that. You guys are here to hear this bacon. But for any of you who may have gotten into the beta, let me know what you guys think and whatnot. There's like 2 more betas coming up, I think. Or maybe it's just 1. It might be 2. But I think it's 2 and whatnot. Because like I said, this is August 11th. So let me know, you know what I'm saying, if you guys actually got a chance to get in. What you guys think? What are some of your gripes? I got gripes. I've got gripes. But I had a great time. I had a great time, man. Holy shit. I have not had that much fun in a first-person shooter in a long time, to be honest with you. I had a great time. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into my favorite segment. Hopefully your favorite segment and whatnot, I hope. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Okay, so we're going to go back to, let's see, what's this, March 21st of 2025. DSP speaks on detractors and hate watchers. Which theoretically a detractor and a hate watcher are one and the same, to be honest with you. I don't know if there's a real differential between the two. In any case, given that DSP now wants to sue his detractors and whatnot, those who make money off of him or whatever, maybe this right here this will give us early insight into what his plan ended up becoming later on down the line. It's hard to say. But DSP needs detractors. And he needs hate watchers. And don't get me wrong, it's a parasitic type of relationship on both sides of the spectrum, theoretically. But he needs detractors. He needs hate. He needs people to hate him. He needs people to dislike him. He needs people to disagree with him, right? That are outside of the pig pen, that are outside of the pignosis, because it's the only thing that keeps him going. People like him can't live with positivity. They need conflict. They need problems. And then when they get it and they can't handle it, then, you know what I'm saying, they want to act like pusses and shit, and then they want to play victim and all that. And that falls right into DSP psychosis as well. You know, that's his MO. You know what I'm saying? That is his stock and trade. Go ahead, start the shit, and then play victim and hope to cash in. While also hoping to draw people in who may actually agree with some of his stance or his view or his point of views. Whichever comes first, I suppose. In any case, that's what we're about to get into. That's what our situation is. And thank you guys for coming to my very short TED Talk. Because I have not seen this clip. Actually, these next few videos, I haven't seen any of the clips for them. So we're gonna be starting from ground zero, and we're gonna see where we go. All right. So with that being said, thank you again for coming to my TED Talk. And man, so hype. Let's go ahead and let's do that. I'm gonna serve you guys up. You know what I'm saying? That SnortBucks coffee, hot and fresh. So I think that'll be our background. And let me do a little bit more testing, and then we can get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and back to what I was saying. Sorry about that. All right, chewing on his hoof, DSP's favorite pastime. And let's give some clarification to the particulars. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Raw Phil. Big ups to Raw Phil, actually, matter of fact. There we go. There we go. Let's see here. All right. So, like I said, big ups to Raw Phil. And we're going to be doing... Sorry, I'm a little bit disorganized at the moment. All right, here we go. All right, DSP speaks on his detractors and hate watchers. This is from March 21st of 2025, year of the snake and whatnot. And let's see what we have in store for ourselves, shall we? And let's see here. I've already got the first round of SnortBucks already passed out to everybody, so everybody should be locked in. Let's get it.
Can we get any more contributions? One more contribution. Get us to at least $50 before the podcast ends, and then we can jump into the game just to get a good head start, because I really want to hit this goal.
Holy shit, we started off with a bang. Oh, baby. We start off with a bang. That's the best type, to be honest with you. When DSP is desperate, and that's what I'm saying, don't feed lol cows, bro. The best lol cow is one that's starving. You know what I'm saying? That's starving. That are thirsty. You know what I'm saying? That's the best one. You know what I'm saying? You feeding it, you're feeding right into their own sympathy and like shortcomings and shit. You're more of a problem than a solution, or even a way of inducing, if you will, more lactation from the cow. That's just my personal opinion, though. It's your money. Do what you want.
Today, and do the DSP tries it today, so we could start fresh next week. I don't want to have this like a lingering thing next week. It would be perfect, but we didn't have a goal this week because of all the stuff that was going on.
Oh, and that goes back to my thesis. I've already talked to you guys about this, about DSP trying to get 2 DSP tries done a week, to be honest with you, because that's perfect, because neither one of them are cooking anymore. They're just heating food up. So if he can get more DSP tries in the mix weekly, I wonder if that has something to do with what he's writing off on his taxes. If he's writing that off as, all those DSP tries as business expenses. I'm not quite sure. Currently in the timeline, he kind of ripped people off. Like I said, I'm recording this on August 11th. He ripped people off on the last DSP tries. He didn't record it. That was during the marathon. We'll talk about that later. But the point being is that I wonder if that's what he's doing now, if he's writing that stuff off. Little bit of, let me expound upon that if I will, or if you'll allow me to. You can go to actually Sav. Sav can back me up on this, but Amberlynn Reed, as well as Chantel, do that. They write off when they do their mukbangs or whatever the fuck you want to call them, or mukbangs. They write that stuff off on their taxes too as a business expense. Hence the reason why it has to be recorded and it has to be put up on the channel. You know what I'm saying? And so for a while there was a couple years where Amber was just pumping that shit out on the regular, and a lot of it was done in the same day. You can ask Karina Kaboom. She can back me up on that as well. And the reason why is because every time she was gorging herself, she was recording it. She was recording it as a mukbang or a mukbang. Why not? She can put it up on the channel. That will give her some residuals for what she paid, if not cover all of it. And then she can write this shit off on her taxes later. So, you know what I'm saying? And the reactors are going to eat all of that up. So it's no different. So I'm thinking that DSP is just doing the same thing.
Kirby Speedstar, that is in the eye of the beholder, right? Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has a different take on stuff in life. Some people absolutely hate me. Some people like me. Some people are in the middle. Some people are indifferent.
That's literally cult leader type talk or speak, if you will.
Right? All right. So, I would wish that people who tune into my stuff would only tune in because they care about my opinions and think that they have merit. I can't help if people tune in to hate watch. I don't know why people do that. I think that's a complete waste of your time. There's so many different people out there to be following or watching who you could like. Why would you hate watch someone instead?
Here's the reality of it. He's actually part of his own problem, as it pertains to this, I should say. Because if you follow DSP's early career, or if you've even looked back at it, to be honest, he spent a lot of time shitting on other content creators, just for the hell of it, just because he felt like they were competition, so on and so forth. So the very hate watchers that he's dealing with, he tried to develop, to curate, if you will, those same hate watchers to go after other people and whatnot, or to be a hindrance to other people, hoping that they would give up. And as you end up finding out later on, obviously, as time went on, it came back to him. They all succeeded. They were all able to move on. Everybody has haters. Everybody deals with it in a certain way, but you don't feed trolls. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to hate, let them hate. and then keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is of human nature to be drawn to negativity, right? Or being drawn to people who don't like you or why they do or whatever. But dude, don't ever sit there and try to convert a hater. Don't ever try to hurt a troll or whatever. It's not going to do you no good, bro. It really isn't at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Just let that shit roll off and just keep it pushing. But everybody handles it differently. It is what it is. I don't make time for that. I don't entertain that. You have the right to your opinion. You can have at it. Just like I have the right to mine. And just keep it pushing. But if you're someone sensitive, right, you're going to let that shit hurt you. Or you're going to let that shit bother you. If it bothers you, then it hurts you. And then that's what leads to this nonsense here. So the very tactics that are being used, that he himself tried to use, is being used against him years later. And he has nothing to show for it. You sat around for years being an asshole to people who did nothing except for succeed. And that was enough of a offense to you that you felt that you could send people after them. And now look at where you're at. Something to think about.
I don't understand that. I don't think anyone can ever ration.
And then, just to show you how much of a dent he is, he couldn't find a way to prosper off of it. He couldn't find a way to monetize it. He couldn't do it. That's why he got mad at Stuttering Craig and Side Scrolls, because they were able to. That's why he got mad at Steven from Truth Seekers, because they were able to do it. Keem, for a while, was trying to do it. I honestly think that was wrapped up into the Lolcow podcast business plan or strategy, poorly executed, because poorly executed, or poor execution. So there you go on that. So now he's resorted in our current day and age to literally beg detractors, or he's damn near on the cuffs of it, but begging detractors, or detractors really, to buy in, to support the content so he can keep existing. If even someone like Tevin, if Tevin had said that shit 5 years ago, DSP would have had you sent to the fucking Gouty goulash so goddamn fast, man. Your fucking bacon would spin. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. But now it's kind of getting down to the only thing that he has left. But if you guys know your history, in 2017, when he was on Twitch, them troll donations made up something like 9 to 15% of his, no, it may not have been that. It might have been 9 to 12%. I'd have to look now, because Secret Limited and Eddie B43 did a chart on that. It's in the Secret Limited top 10 worst moments of 2017, I'm pretty sure. And I think troll donations made at least 10%. I'll say that. At least 10%. So DSP had his opportunity. He had his time and place for that. He squandered it. So womp womp. And then, ironically enough, real fast, and then we'll just move on, because you know me, I'll talk your ear off if you let me. If you really think about it, a lot of these antics or these goals for DSP tries, or these things about drinking on stream and whatnot, and have as he likes to call it, an inebriated stream and this, that, and the third. These are all things that trolls told him to do back in 2017 and 2018. He said he wouldn't do it. Now he's doing it. He waited years later to try to finally bring in that detractor, troll, hater, critic capital into the Gouty economy, and it's just too little too late. Only dents do that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it. Only dents do that. Back in the early days, yeah, you might have a couple of detractors do it for the gold dust or whatever the case may be, right? But as time goes on, people have gotten smarter and realized, yeah, fuck all that. Let him starve, and that's when you'll really get shit done. That's when you'll really get what you want out of it. Now, of course, you gotta prod him too, right? Like any piece of pork that you're smoking, you're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, stay on top of the temperature of it and whatnot. So prodding might be necessary. But feeding him, you know what I'm saying, contributing to him monetarily, nah, that's not the play. That's not the play.
Understand or explain to me hate watching, because I don't think there's anything rational to it. I think it's emotional. I think it's,
and then he hate watches himself. He hate watches Justin. He hate watches Maximilian. But in our current day and age, he hate watching LTG. Well, he wants the BBC too, but he be hate watching him too. So, you know what I'm saying? He literally does this shit to other people. He does it to other content creators that he was better than, or he thought he was better than at one time, and now they're still doing the same thing, or they're still doing their thing. They're still moving forward, and they're still progressing, and he's not. Hypocrite's a hypocrite, I suppose.
Stupid. I think dumb people do it, quite frankly. Like, I would not sit around watching someone I hate all day. Why would I do that?
And question, if those hate watchers actually contributed to him, would they be hate watchers to him at that point? Think about it.
You know, what a waste of time. But I think some people are just dumb, and you can't really fix dumb people because they're just wired wrong. I don't know what else to say.
Projection. Major projection. Holy shit. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's why, ladies and gentlemen, DSP is his greatest detractor, by far. His projection segments, gold. Gold! And people say there isn't anything of value on Gout Rushmore. Shame. Or shame on you.
Well, there you go. You don't hate watch. If you're not hate watching, I get it. If you get entertainment out of something, if you genuinely are liking it, that's not hate watching at all. Hate watching is you hate the person, you hate the content, you hate everything about it, but you insist on watching it just to make fun of it.
That's quite the assumption to think that everybody who watches him, who makes fun of him or is critical of him, hates him. That's the thing. And that goes back to what I told you. DSP needs hate watchers. He needs people to hate him and dislike him. He needs it. He can't ever say, oh, people dislike me and I don't understand why they dislike me. It's always to the extreme. That's just how he lives. That's how he exists, I should say. He's not, trust me, what he does isn't living, it's existing.
That's hate watching. That's stupid. You could do so many better things with your life than hate watch someone you genuinely don't like. I never understood it. And no one has ever been able to sufficiently explain it to me. Why it's a rational or useful thing to do with your time or life. It just doesn't make sense. Yes, but you understand. Listen to this.
It's kind of weird at 43 that you need everything to be explained to you. But you run around acting like you're like some type of intellectual or some shit. I always found that to be the strangest thing. You can't sit there and put yourself on this, you can't put yourself on this platform or on this pedestal and spew all these platitudes about how smart you are and everybody else around you is dumb. And then you have to go back and say, oh, well, I need people to explain shit to me because I don't understand this. Or I need to be handheld through these games because I don't understand. It doesn't fit into my frame of mind and the developers are stupid. So I don't understand why this game works or doesn't work. Makes you think.
This idiot. I want to see what inevitably will come to you. Yes, but number one, you don't know it'll ever happen. First of all, it's your opinion, right? What's going to inevitably come to you is your opinion because you don't like me or any person you hate watch, right? It's not the opinion of everyone. There's no one who is universally hated who can be successful. You understand that?
You're not successful, though. And there is a lot of people who are universally hated and are successful. There's a plethora of people who fall into that category. You think most people became millionaires or billionaires and whatnot because people like them? If you think that you're retarded. That's just not the way it goes. Sorry. That's just not the way it goes. Everybody is the villain in somebody else's story in some way, shape, or form. That's just the reality of it. Like, if you go through life needing everybody that you meet or knows you to like you, you have far more issues, or you're going to run into far more issues as you move through life than you'll ever be prepared for. It's just the reality of it. And just because a person disagrees with you doesn't mean that they don't like you or hate you. There's that too. There's a lot of reasonable detractors out here who don't hate DSP. They disagree with what he does. They may even hate what he does. That doesn't necessarily mean that they hate him. Something to think about. But if you're a mongoloid, though, like DSP is, that'll never be able to penetrate you in a way that you'll ever be able to conceive.
People who are if you're universally hated, you're going to actually fail in life.
That's literally not true, but all right. That's legitimately not true, but okay. Fair enough and whatnot. That's weird, though, too, that your success is tied to how people socially perceive you. But that's interesting because this is the same person, DSP, who won't do a charity stream because people hate him and he's scared that the thing's going to fail. Instead of just doing it anyway and just drumming the money out of the idiots that are already giving you money and donating that. Oh, well, we can't do that though. Because if DSP does anything, he needs to be paid for it. He needs to be compensated for it. See why that charity stream is never going to happen? Something to think about.
There's people who like people. You know what I'm saying?
And here's another thing too. Sorry, I'm being an asshole about this, but that's what I do. I nitpick. Didn't DSP say that he was successful in the FGC towards the end? Didn't he say that? But DSP is universally hated, despised, or ignored as it pertains to the FGC. But he said in his time, towards the later years, I should say, he was a respectable tournament organizer. He was looked at as a respectable player. People used to travel across country just to play against him because they respected what he did. That's what he told us. I mean, of course, it may have something to do with him wanting to chase 14-year-old girls in the mall. That's some weird shit to be saying and whatnot, and trying to invite other players that come out to your city to do while waiting for a tournament. But semantics, make of that what you will.
It's the people who actually like those creators or people who are supporting them who let them keep going. So
that let them keep going, so they can't persevere on their own. They need other people to prop them up. Peep what he's putting down. Peep it. So DSP is not successful because he's endured, right? Because he's the most let's see, not pervasive. What's the term that he uses? I can't think of the term at the moment. But DSP sits there and says that the reason why he keeps doing what he's doing because all of the hard work and determination that he puts forth each and every day. That's why he'll always be here. He'll always be here. No detractor, troll, hater, or critic will ever prevent him from doing what he does. He'll always be here doing it. But now he's sitting here saying that popular and or successful people are only there because people prop them up, so it allows them to be there. So which one is it? Like, we're contradicting ourselves on a couple of different fronts, but which one is it, Phil? Make it make sense.
What you're saying has no merits. There's no inevitable fall of anyone, all right, at all. You just sitting around waiting for that moment that may or may not ever happen.
The Gouty Viper, isn't this what this idiot did to Pro Jared? Isn't it what this idiot did to Machinima? Isn't it what this idiot did to fucking Blip.tv? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Is stupid. It's a complete waste of time. Maybe if something did happen, you heard of it, and then you went to watch, that would make sense. But literally sitting there every single day, wasting your time away, and the person isn't failing, and then you got to sit there and you got to stew about it, and you're angry about it, and you're jealous, and you're upset, and you're just so, oh.
Now this is weird, because if he doesn't actually pay any attention to Detractor content, which is a lie, and if he doesn't read the farms, which is also a lie, how does he know all this? Because what? Whatever mouth-drooling moron who gets ready to pass up their fucking social security check told him in a tip message or some shit? Does that make it all true, Phil? Is everything that's said on the internet true? If that's the case, then that means almost everything that's said about you is true, right? One could come to that conclusion. Something to think about.
Oh, why would that be a good use of your life? You have one life on Earth. That's it. You're not getting extra chances. There's no extra lives. There's no redos.
I mean, even though you kind of save scum in real life, if you think about it, not just in video games. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about that Mega Man fucking marathon, the second one, the one that just had recently in August, and where we're literally save scumming every couple of steps for resources, if I remember correctly. It's embarrassing. That was embarrassing. And I understand having save states and being able to rewind. I understand and I see the value in that, but not being abused like that. And that's exactly what that was. That was abuse. That was out and out abuse.
You have one life on this planet to make the best of. Do you understand that? And if you're just going to sit there and be angry about others rather than focusing on yourself, you've missed the point.
You mean like what you do? Like what you did to Kino Casino, what you did to LTG, well, what you're doing to LTG. What you did to side scrollers, what you did to anybody and everybody who's far more successful than you. You're a hypocrite. And that's fine. I mean, it's fine for him to be a hypocrite because it's in his nature. But all of this shit falls on deaf ears because there's always going to be some asshole like me that's going to point out the examples of you doing the exact same thing. And you still doing the exact same thing. DSP never changed. And the reason why is because change starts with your mindset. You got to change up here and whatnot before you could change anything else. And DSP never did that. He never could. Wings never did that because Wings never could. Keemstar never did that because Keem never could. When you always think you're right, then everything else around you needs to change.
The script has eluded you. You need to focus on you and in doing things that are good for you, meaningful for you. That means building relationships, having meaningful.
What relationships do you have, Phil? Not with your wife. You don't have a friend in sight. Dense or dense. So what's up? Are you talking to Duty behind the scenes? Are you guys developing a relationship? What are we talking about here?
Interactions. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. Not this, not sitting. I hate watch someone because I want to inevitably see them fall. Are you dumb? Like,
the word I was looking for, by the way, earlier was prolific. That's how he described himself, as prolific.
come back. If there is a fall, then come back for the fall. Don't just sit there and waste your time.
He doesn't want to acknowledge the community around it. That's the thing that he's been struggle sessioning himself around. The idea that there's literally a community of people who do this. He doesn't want to address that. He wants to go ahead and pig nose the individual, because DSP can't talk to the masses like that. So he has to point people out directly, or at least address the individual, and hope that one of them will develop troll remorse, and then maybe they'll back off. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, he was so desperate to get that Medicare interview. He needed that Medicare interview to happen, because if you can have, let's call him King Bully, but that's really Ethan Van Skyler, to be honest with you, Comicscape, if you guys are following that. But if he can get, you know what I'm saying, King Bully to admit that he did wrong and apologize, then DSP thinks everybody else will fall in line, which it won't, to be honest. If you've been following Medicare for any period of time, he has always pushed for individual thinkers. This isn't groupthink. This isn't hive mind. This isn't cattle or in cattle or whatever the fuck they call that term over on that side of it. It's not that type of game. And it just goes to show how unprepared DSP really is. And it shows in a lot of ways how Darksydephil was able to maneuver him the way he did in their exchange. DSP's never going to want to do that again. But we'll see.
Because then what happens is people realize that trend and they grift. So now you have the entire vortex of people around me who capitalize on people like you, who sadly are weak-minded and don't realize that this is a waste of your time. So they are sucking in your bucks. They're literally sucking in your views and your bucks, because you're a sucker's born every minute, and do they see you as the mark. You are the mark for them.
Now, if you're a dent, well, there's a lot of people that are dents that are over there anyway. But if they were a dent that had like an IQ over like 86 maybe, they might actually realize, hey, what DSP is actually saying is actually how he treats us. It's how he approaches us. It's how he's indoctrinated us. But they won't, because it's stupid. And because of that, he can literally take shots at them right in front of their face. He can literally shit on them right to their face. And they don't actually get the actual real meaning behind it. And that's probably the most unfortunate thing about a dent, or at least one of them, is that at times, he's actually mask off and telling you guys the truth, and you guys are just too stupid to perceive it. You just don't understand. Or, even worse than that, you do see it, and you're willing to deal with it anyway. Just like those guys who are willing to, when DSP finally admits years after the fact that he ain't lied to you guys for whatever fucking reason. You guys be like, okay, Phil's right, you're justified. You're cattle to him. You're cattle to be drained and whatnot, or be milked, then be drained, and then be taken off to slaughter, and then hope that another one will take your place. And for whatever reason, there's always another idiot to take the place. It's fascinating, I gotta tell you.
You're watching the restream, you're watching the podcast, you're watching the next piece of hateful content. It's all there just to capitalize on your weakness. And the fact that you can't realize that, they realize you have no self-awareness, and that's why they do it. That's why there's a vortex around DSP. It's not DSP. It's the vortex of people capitalizing on the weak-minded. Because if you really think about it, in the days of stuff like the
And this shows you how stupid he is. The very people that were in the vortex who have broken off and done whatever, it breaks up into a couple of categories. I'll give you a few. One, people like me who found Detractors first, right? Or even heard about him from another community, found Detractors and then just kind of slid right in, so to speak. Those who are former fucking fans, this is before they would be considered dents, who were former fans who ended up becoming Detractors or whatever. Those who just saw his egregious bullshit, who weren't even fans, who were just viewers, and decided to have an opinion on it. And then you can kind of just keep going down the line. People find DSP in a multitude of different ways, right? And it depends on the generation of Detractor, obviously. But even still, there's usually some type of common ground with how people have discovered him and decided to join these communities. There's a large demographic of people who are refugees, who are literal refugees from his fucking side of the fence, who came over here and try to not even really make a name for themselves, just to have a place to belong. It's a thing. It's always been that way. But DSP will never admit that, because then he has to admit he is the actual core problem. It all started with him. If he didn't treat people like shit, if he wasn't a fucking asshole for no goddamn reason and really try to keep it as entertainment, which it never was because it's something he can't do, then he may have been able to go further. He may have had some real longevity, not just existing, I should say, because he's not surviving. Not just existing, but you know what I'm saying, real longevity. And he'll never have that. DSP knows that the day that he fucking dies out, whether in Minecraft or his channels get taken down and he can't do anything else online, eventually the Detractors will have full lock, stock, and trade over Brunel Enterprises or Brunel Productions or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And that's all history will ever remember. They'll never remember the man. They'll remember the clown and whatnot. That's what it comes down to. And that's how it's always meant to be. And he hates it. But deep down, he knows it. And that's why he has to keep plugging along every day. That's why he has to go ahead and have his Gouty Gestapo and try to infiltrate every Discord or whatever, or try to be in every little conversation to see what's going on so they can report back to him. In reality, he has nothing. And whatever his legacy is or whatever, it won't be written by him. The last pages will be written by a Detractor more often than not. That's kind of sad when you really think about it. That your quote-unquote life's work is completely and utterly dictated by someone else. And you can't do anything about it. All you can do is just show up. And hope to have a good day. Oh, God, pathetic when you think about it.
It's okay, right? They were not like that. They were...
Oh, wait, you're sucking SOK's dick? You tell. Bring that back.
This is a waste of your time. So they are sucking in your bucks. They are. They're literally sucking in your views and your bucks because you're a sucker's born every minute. And do they see you as the mark? You are the mark for them. You're watching the restream. You're watching the podcast. You're watching the next piece of hateful content. It's all there just to capitalize on your weakness. And the fact that you can't realize that, they realize you have no self-awareness, and that's why they do it. That's why there's a vortex around DSP. It's not DSP. It's the vortex of people capitalizing on the weak-minded.
Now, here's another thing, too, I want to point out before he gets into this SOK situation. If you're calling these people idiots, weak-minded, this, that, and the third, why would they ever, support you or flock to you? I don't expect any dents to come over here, nor do I want them to be honest with you. So I really don't have any skin in that. But DSP do. But here's the trick. The trick is he wants people to just stop watching it altogether. If you're not going to watch him and let him profit, then don't watch these people and let them profit. Just go away. And he really thinks that's going to benefit him. He really thinks he can outlast the vortex if he can just get people to stop watching both sides, if you will. So we're literally going with the nuclear option, if you will, a soft touch, if you will, before we actually go full mutual assured destruction at this point. That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild that you would rather people just stop altogether than to actually try to give you a chance because you're too busy and too emotional, calling them names, talking down to them in the alleged way that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics do. So you would rather just try to muddy up the water or fuck both sides of the spectrum. That's wild. I would say it's audacious, but it's not. It's just stupidity for the sake of stupidity. That's just actual stupidity. But you know, whatever. Let him play his cards out. We'll see what's what.
Because if you really think about it, in the days of stuff like the SOK, right? They were not like that. They were just, we don't like Phil and we hate watch Phil constantly. All right. But no one capitalized on it.
The fuck? Didn't you get mad at them when they were making money back in the day? Weren't you mad that they were fucking up your reputation and preventing you from getting money? Weren't you mad that they were sending people over to you to troll and to make shit uncomfortable for your community? Huh? Huh. Okay, well, we're gonna rewrite SOK history. That was an added bonus to this that I wasn't expecting, but I'm here for it.
No one was making bank. No one was making a living. There was no entire ecosystem based around it.
Oh, so he's talking about the gatekeeping that SOK did. I see. Okay. After all these years, he finally found value in SOK, but they gatekeeped other people so they couldn't profit off me and make money. I see. Lowest common denominator. Gotcha. So DSP, in a lot of ways, actually, is literally, what's the term I want to use for it? He's endorsing gatekeeping and whatnot within his hater community. So, okay, so if people were doing it and unmonetized, would you be okay with that, DSP? No, because you had problems with people doing that before they got monetized, or those who were still unmonetized. So how much longer are we going to keep pushing the goalpost back? So suck off SOK, because they were gatekeeping the community, preventing people from making profit off of what they were doing, if they're even making profit, to be honest with you. Because the time, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but like, if you think the time that you put in compared to the cost that you're making doing this varies, unless you're streaming, obviously. But that's neither here nor there. But then most fucking detractors don't fucking fire up a stream with the expectation that people are going to throw money at them. DSP does. So, huh? And didn't SOK make bank? Isn't there a fucking well out in Africa or some shit on that with their plaque on it? So are we going to memory hole that? Is that not a thing? Maybe it is. I don't know. Let's go ahead and find out.
It was just hate watchers. But then what happened is, over time, as the hate watching increased, people, the snakes, they call them carpetbaggers. They come in and they just sweep up everything that they possibly can immorally because they see an opportunity, right? Traditionally, those were people who did it during a war. They would come into your house that got destroyed in a battle before you could even get back because holes in the house from the shells, and they would fucking just take a carpet and bag all your belongings and run out the door. They're the ultimate.
Actually, historically, depending on the war, of course, you would be lucky if that happened. The reality is, more than likely, the husband and any of the children, the sons in particular, that were over a certain age, more than likely died in battle or were dying. Any of the women that were still at the homestead, if they didn't flee and they were still there, I can only impress upon you what a bunch of men who've been fighting battles and who have been conditioned to be like, yeah, we need to eradicate them. What happened to those women and children? I don't need to go any further than that. And then, if they're still left alive after that that whole ordeal, then all their shit got taken and then ran out. Just putting that out there. Maybe if DSP read more about his history, as being that he is Polish, and what the Nazis did when they ran through Poland, maybe he'd have a better understanding. But that's right, DSP is not Polish, though. He's Italian. I forgot. I forgot about that. Maybe he should read about what happened to the Italians after they lost the war. Maybe he should read more about that. Oh, well, sorry. This isn't exactly a history lesson.
Opportunists. And that's who these people are that you're falling for. All of these people who make this content that's non-tent, it's what is non-tent. There's no content there. It's just people capitalizing on your weak-mindedness to make money on you.
No one's forcing them to watch it. You realize that, right, Phil? I don't see any detractor that has on their channel, watch this or consume this content. I don't think that's a thing. I've never seen a detractor, troll, hater, or critic wage quit a stream, whether reacting to him or playing a game and reacting to him, or just playing a game, or just playing a game itself, because they didn't get enough donations. I've never seen that. Don't worry though, I'll wait.
And that's sad that you guys can't just wise up. Listen, if you don't like me, you have the right to not like me. That's fine. But why?
That's a nice voice crack we got there. That's fine. Okay, Phil, like you can barely squeeze that out.
I sit around paying people all day.
I mean, paying people, well, I doubt anybody's there all day, but contributing to people or paying people, let's use your terminology, because they provide them entertainment, that's a bad thing? Or is it because it's at your expense? I'm just looking for clarification.
To just say things about me, and then I'm still here and I'm fine.
Okay, so you're mad that people are getting paid to make fun of you, or you're mad that you're being bled constantly, I suppose, and they're continuing to make money off of you. I'm not really quite sure what angle he's trying to take.
Right? Like, what are you talking about? Do you not understand that?
And here's the thing: if it's isolated to this fucking this little community here, why the hell do you care? Why does that bother you? If these people are so stupid, if these sheeple, right, are so ignorant, so stupid, they won't wise up, then what do you care what they do with their money per se? I mean, yes, he's right to have has the right to have an opinion on it. This is more than an opinion. So why is he so bothered by it? That we're getting long epilogues like this. Makes you think.
This is the cycle they've created. It just, but I mean, the insane lack of any kind of self-awareness is wild to me. But then you said, well, Phil's not self-aware. No, Phil knows everything that's going on.
Phil knows everything that's going on, but he doesn't pay attention to detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. He doesn't pay attention to Tevin. He doesn't pay attention to that being said, which is clearly a lie. He pays attention to what Tevin and that being said does religiously. He doesn't pay attention to what It's a Gundam's doing. He's still not striking down SnortBucks videos, which I'm pretty confident he is, and so on and so forth. I'm sure he's probably striking a bunch of duty shit down too, and whatnot, or he's definitely trying to, I should say, at the very least. But but yet again, he said it himself. He knows everything that is going on. Womp womp.
At all times, I'm very, very aware of all of this stuff happening. I just can't believe that people are that dumb. But apparently, there's so many dumb people on Earth that you've created a giant ecosystem of this predatory nonsense, and I never was involved in it.
Oh, now we're being predatory. So SOK wasn't predatory. They were doing a community service in Goutopia, but all the rest of us are predatory. Interesting. Okay.
I never got involved in it. I never sought to be involved in it. That's why I don't talk to detractors. That's why don't bring them up specifically or their content. There's no point.
Except for when we were obsessing about duty. And now we're currently obsessing about DrSidephil. And when we were obsessing about Secret Limited. And when we were obsessing about SnortBucks, and when we were obsessing about Evil AJ, and when we were obsessing about the Outsider. I'm sorry, I don't need to go ahead and show my power level. You know what I'm saying? You're right. Okay. I hear you in the chat right now, or in the comment section. Yo, you need chill. Okay, I got you. You're right. We got a lot to go through. My fault.
You guys are being eaten alive, not me. I'm still going to be here making content, being fine. You are the ones who are throwing your time, effort, and lives away, not me. I'm having a great time here every day.
Watching content on YouTube is throwing your life away. So what does that say for the average dent? I'm just asking. I'm not patched in like that. I'm pretty uninformed on everything that goes on day to day on YouTube. So I was just curious. I thought I'd just ask.
Excuse me. So, Mr. Salas did a $100 Mexican peso super chat. Well, I hope this helps get to the goal. Nice meeting you. Even if it sounds like I got trolled. Yeah, you must have got trolled. I've never heard of you, Mr. Salas. Seriously, I've never heard of you. And I wish you the best. Sorry that you got messed around with by some people, I guess. Thanks for the super chat. Okay. And I know from yesterday, that's about $5. Because we had a Mexican super chat yesterday. So we'll count that as 5. So thank you there. And then we have Bobby. Bobby Padlock just became a member at the standard level, and that's 3. So we're at $39 of support. We got a few minutes left on the podcast. Any final topics you guys want to talk about, please tag me. Could I argue the same about my content? Well, Mortarian, here's the thing. My content isn't predatory.
The fuck it isn't. You got a 43-year-old man that's playing games that are fucking literally addressed to or marketed to children under the age of like 13 at times. How's that not predatory? How is that not predatory? And then look at what's going on behind you. Most people that are your age who stream, they don't have all of this. You look like a groomer. You look like you're a pedo. You look like you defend pedos. Oh, sorry about that one. That last one must hit a little too home. Must hit real close to home for you, Phil. But you have groomer written all over you. That's what this whole setup screams. This doesn't scream a grown-ass man who has a real genuine interest in gaming or pop culture or whatever. This looks like someone who's trying to draw kids in. That in its own nature is predatory.
My content is not harmful or negative in any way.
So when you're bitching and complaining at people for not giving you enough money to hit the goal so you can do DSP tries, when you're literally holding games hostage because you haven't hit the goal for the day, when games are just outright being wage quit because you're like, oh, well, there's not enough attendance or there's not enough contribution, so fuck this game, we'll move on to something else. That in itself is not harmful. Huh, okay.
Right? People find value in my content. All right.
If people found value in your content, then you wouldn't need to beg, right? If people really thought that your content was meaningful, you could go a couple of days without hitting, or a couple streams, let's say that. You could go a couple streams without hitting the goal and be fine. And not even need to bring it up. Just keep it pushing. But he doesn't do any of that. I'm just asking.
Right? If you like the content you see here, if you like me talking about games, about topics, reacting to people, playing games and the like, you support the content and you know you're going to get more of it. And now, as you guys have seen in the last...
So then are you making content because you're passionate about it? I'll use his terminology. Are you making the content because you're passionate about it? Or are you making content that you're hoping people will pay for? Because that's two separate things.
8+ months, if I actually get significant support to the point where I can actually do things like solid improvements. I'm trying to turn my camera off because it started, like it's being stupid.
Yeah, well, the person who's running it is kind of stupid too. So stupid is as stupid does. What is significant contributions though? Like, do you actually have an amount that you can point to? No, you can't do that because you're greedy. And if you set if he puts up a set amount and it's hit, it'll never get exceeded. And he, truth be told, and I need to bring this out now, but I'm sure most of you already know this. When DSP doesn't hit his goals, it works to his benefit. Whether it's $30 or it's $140, he still wins. Yeah, he talks that bullshit about progression and all that lame ass shit, but the reality is he's not going to refund their money back to him. So he still walks away with something in his pocket, more than what he had when he showed up. And that's why he never wants to give you an actual amount to go with this significant contributions or this significant amount raised. That's the reason why he does that. He purposely leaves that out to try to get you for as much money as he can. Is that not by its very nature predatory? Does myself or anybody else expect you to come to our videos and streams and fucking empty your bank account for whatever it is that you have as a show of admiration and appreciation and respect for what the fuck I do? No, but that's what he does. So tell me what the difference is then, Phil. I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Stop. Yeah, I won't even stop now. Now it's all screwed up. There we go. You see that I reinvest. I'm constantly reinvesting now.
Now. Okay, but we couldn't reinvest during Vest Streak, the original one. We couldn't reinvest during King Tut / Tutmosis when that situation was happening. We couldn't reinvest when Emerald 7 was a thing. We couldn't reinvest when Twitch loves me and my streams and he was getting featured a couple times as a guinea pig for whatever safeguards they were trying to put in place for their ethos, which, just in case you don't know, that's a real thing, by the way. A lot of the anti-bully measurements that Twitch came up with was DSP was literally the catalyst for that. He was literally the guinea pig that they used to make that happen. It's absolutely fascinating if you go back and look at it.
Right? Every show I do, I'm buying cards for smart guys. I'm going to buy a new Lego set for the Lego stuff. I'm adding to my setup. I'm buying games constantly. Like I'm reinvesting everything you're giving me into the business to make the content better. That was always the excuse previously, was Phil just pockets all the money and runs. Well, now I don't do that.
Wait, you said back then that you weren't pocketing the money and whatnot. This was your job, and that money went to expenses. Even though, if I remember correctly, don't take me on my word on this, but I'm pretty confident he said back in the day that tips were meant to go for games specifically. So we're talking about Twitch now. When he used to be back on Twitch, that when you donate to him, when you tip him, I should say, all of those monies go to his ability to buy games exclusively. Almost, I'm pretty confident it was something along those lines. And we found out that wasn't true. On top of the fact that you had examples and situations where people were willing to donate the games to him while him also trying to collect money and tips to buy that same said game. Or, I'll go even further than that, people who were giving him money directly to play a game that DSP said he wanted to play, and then him coming up with excuses not to. For example, the person who donated like $150 for DSP to play, I'm pretty sure it was a PlayStation VR game, and DSP put the lore out there for it, and then when someone bit, he came up with all these excuses on why he couldn't play it. It was going to be uncomfortable. The headset makes him sweat and all this other lame ass shit. And the guy just kept donating, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. I didn't mean to step over the lines, Phil," or whatever other lame ass shit that was. And DSP ain't pocketed like $150, or if not more. Or we can go to the DJ Runo situation with what was that? Untitled Goose Game, I think. Don't hold me to it. But I'm pretty sure it was Untitled Goose Game. And it was like a $20 game. I'm pretty sure DJ Runo kicked the money up for it. DSP said thanks. And then come to find out when it was time to play it, DSP didn't do it, saying that he needed the bill. He needed that 20 to cover, I want to say it was an overdraft fee or something along those lines. I'm not sure if it's completely linked to chargebacks. I can't remember. But I want to tell you, he said he had to use that money for like an overdraft fee or some shit, and that's why he couldn't play it. And then that led into that whole situation there, which might be interesting to look back at one day.
I'm actually reinvesting.
So who's actually being predatory or even dishonest at this point? Don't worry, I'll wait.
So then it's the next thing. Do you see the point? My content is content that is not harmful to anyone, is genuine content. I'm making the content for the sake of enjoying what I'm talking about. I have passion for it.
So when you shit on the FGC, when you shit on LTG, when you shit on other content creators and streamers, was all of that positive? Was all that not harmful? Was it all whatever? Or are you pushing the goalpost back? I'm giving off the examples of stuff that you did. That's not me pushing the goalpost back. That's providing examples. If you can't tell the difference, then that's on you. Something to think about.
Like what I do. It's not, oh, let's dump on someone else's content toxically. It's let's just do productive stuff that doesn't hurt anyone.
Oh, you mean like what you did to Review Tech USA? And don't get me wrong, I'm someone who very much endorses fucking lol cow on lol cow violence. Don't ever get that twisted. But seems a bit hypocritical when what you did to him. Right? Something to think about. Fuck Rich, by the way. I mean that. All day. All day.
That's the difference. Everyone has a right to support the content they like, but the difference is, well, someday this person who I've been conditioned to not like is going to have a downfall, so let me continuously hate watch them and throw money to people who say that they're bad.
So they didn't gravitate to Detractor content willingly or naturally. They showed up and they were either pig-nosed before, no, they were conditioned before they came to the Detractor content, and it's because of that content that they stayed? Or did they accidentally stumble in on it, and then they were conditioned, and that's why they can't leave? I'm just asking. I'm trying to give you options, to be honest with you, because what you're saying doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It actually sounds like pignosis, to be honest, and there's plenty of examples of that. Speaking of which, found a channel called Detractor Heaven, if I remember correctly. Big ups to whoever it is that runs that channel. They have a bunch of gems on that channel. I gotta really go through it and see what's what, but I'm hoping that mythical LSB cult videos on that channel. I'm really hoping it is, because they got a lot of LSB's old streams on there. Got some old Tevin streams up there too. They got a bunch of stuff, but I'm wondering if that LSB cult video is over there. If not, someone's gonna eventually drop it, or it's already out there and I just haven't found it yet. But I have a little bit more hope, just a little bit, teeny tiny bit, that that video is gonna eventually pop up. Like there's just some channel out there that I haven't discovered yet, or I haven't come across yet, that has it, that's just sitting on it. Really hope so.
You've wasted your entire life. Every moment you've done that has been a waste. You could have been doing productive, positive things with your life, and instead you...
What did you do that was productive and positive with your life, Phil? Just out of curiosity. Instead of being the internet's toilet bowl. Urinal, if you will. I know that's probably me drawing comparisons to Ethan Van Skyler again, but you know, one does what one can. So what exactly have you done that was so productive and shit and meaningful? If you die tomorrow, Phil, what will the internet remember you for? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Threw your time and money away. What's wrong with you? And the truth is,
and this is the sad part, because now we've gotten to the point where his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, that now he's literally the very thing that he's saying. You shouldn't be hoping on a person's downfall. You shouldn't be waiting on it. It's not productive. It's not reasonable. That's literally what he's doing. He's literally sitting there. He's telling you, hey, I'm going to wait my detractors, trolls, haters, and critics out. I'm going to wait for them to die out. And then they'll see how the folly in their ways. They'll see how they wasted their lives while I still exist. That's wild. Not even a meta, or not a good one anyway, but that's kind of wild that that's the stance that you decided to take.
all these people who are in this vortex, if they went to someone outside of the vortex and told them, this is my hobby, this is what I do for fun, these people would stare at you like a deer in headlights and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you insane? Because it happens every day.
No, it don't. And if you're talking about those fake emails that you allegedly get from former detractors who fucking have like troll remorse, I exited out on all that bullshit. Just like I exited out on some of those fan letters that you allegedly get that you have to use when a marathon ain't going well, or you haven't hit a goal in a while, or whatever, and then you decide to pop it out and fucking spew that bullshit. I assume you've written most of that, unfortunately. But I very likely doubt that, because I know I've told people and whatnot, hey, this is what I laugh at and shit, and they're like, wow. And then it always comes down to, this can't be real, right? This is like some bullshit, like meta acting type shit. No, he's just retarded. And then after a little while, they're like, yeah, okay, I kind of see that now. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. I remember when I introduced Asia GTG to this shit, he was like, yeah, there's no way this guy is fucking real and shit. And after a while, he was like, yeah, he's a fucking idiot. Because, yeah, he is. So it is what it is. I mean, everybody's going to deal with it differently and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I mean, fucking, I've introduced his friends to fucking Girl World and shit, and they swear to God that this can't be real. You know what I'm saying? Can't be real at all. That there's no way that someone like Amber or Foodie Beauty could exist, let alone the people that are kind of orbit around them, being that they're both big enough to have their own orbits. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. But keep in mind, this is the thing that DSP won't recognize, or he refuses to recognize, I should say. He falls into this niche part of the internet, and that's what this is. This whole situation with lolcows and shit is a niche thing that's part of the internet. DSP still thinks, or is inspired to be, or has aspirations to be mainstream, and he's not. He's been dragged down into a hole of his own making, and this is what he's dealing with. But the way he puts it to you, he makes it sound like it's crab in the bucket mentality, and it's a bunch of people holding him down, holding him back from being great. He did that himself. If there was a crab in the bucket, you certainly were at the bottom of the bucket trying to hold other people back. End of story. That's why he takes so much glee in people who were once successful or once popular when they finally get their, I guess in his case, up and comings. Is that not, you know what I'm saying, a crab in a bucket type mentality? Is that not you being the gouty viper waiting for other people's shortcomings and or downfalls? Make it make sense.
If these people don't realize that they think what they're doing is funny or righteous or justice, and then...
Well, I don't believe in justice. Justice is fucking... Karma, and this is something that DSP believes, as well as justice. Karma is justice without the fucking satisfaction. I don't believe in justice. You shouldn't really... Most people don't. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't about justice. Like, it's... At least for me, anyway. It was never about that. DSP will get his up and coming. I don't have to pray for that. No one does. It'll happen and whatnot. He knows it'll happen. We all know it's going to happen. But this has nothing to do with karma or justice. It never falls into any one of those categories, to be honest. You should never pray for karma on people. You're wasting your time doing that. And you should never expect justice unless you're going to take it into your own hands. And no one's advocating for you to do that. So that's just my 2 cents on it, though.
You say it to an outsider and they look at you like, you're fucking insane.
And yet this is the same guy who tries to reach out to outsiders and they won't deal with him and they won't talk to him. Peep this shit, because this shit's clean as hell. Why hasn't DSP had an interview in a while? Why hasn't DSP had an interview with someone normal? Why can't DSP get someone normal in gaming or in pop culture or whatever to speak to him? Don't worry, I'll wait. Go back to side scrollers. Look at what happened there. Look at what happened after that. The stream they did after the interview and whatnot. What is he going to say then? That's why DSP, just like Rich's dumbass, every time people disagree with them, they have to now go ahead and go to politics. oh, they're this, they're that, and that's the reason why they don't like me. That's this, that, and the third. None of them can ever accept that you're not normal. You're not normal, and that's fine. But you're not normal. You need to accept that. You're never going to be mainstream. People will never look at you as a decent person because you're not. It is what it is. You're socially as well as mentally broken, Phil, and this is just the reality. This is the cards that you were dealt, and you're going to play them out. And it scares you to death that that's what the case is. That's why you had to latch on to Kino Casino the way you did. And you try to use them for a boost, King Snake, Snake Eater, yada, 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 yada. But it didn't propel you to Mutahar. It didn't, which doesn't mean shit now. You may have actually dodged the bull on that Mutahar shit. It didn't propel you to fucking Moist Critical, which that may have been a blessing in disguise too, being that he's got all that shit that he needs to still answer for in the Smash Melee community with all the pedophiles and groomers and all that shit that he's linked to because he makes money off of it with Ludwig, whatever you want to pronounce it. He has to deal with that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? He's been real quiet about that. He's been real quiet about fucking Ludwig trying to get that, basically trying to hurt, allegedly, someone who's a friend of his by having drinking himself to death. So Moist Critical ain't speaking on that. I haven't heard him stand on business on that yet. So we'll see. So maybe you dodged the bullet with them. It's funny how every person, whether directly or indirectly, that DSP is trying to get involved with, they've somehow gotten fucked in some type of way. I gotta say, I'm starting to wonder what's worse: the curse, the curse of the King of Gout, or that fucking Sonichu medallion. I'm wondering which one is worse. Is it the touch of the King Gout, or is it that Sonichu medallion? Because to be honest with you, both of them are racking up body counts. It's scary. It's real scary. Just imagine what Cobra could do if he had that type of power.
You're legitimately nuts. You don't know what you're doing with your life. What is wrong with you? But people don't.
Someone who doesn't know how to get a job and can't get a job at this point, telling other people they don't know what they're doing with their lives. Roger that.
Want to leave the vortex because once they're in it, they feel at home and they feel safe, right? Ooh, I'm in this vortex of everyone who's of like mind, who just is toxic towards Darksydephil. This is so good. We can.
You mean like how you were trying to ingratiate yourself to the Kino Casino audience and their fan base and viewer base, or like how you were trying to do that with side scrollers? Do what you gotta do, Phil. I'm gonna have a retort to just about everything, but go ahead, do what you gotta do, man. Whatever helps you.
All have this groupthink mentality. No, you want to know who needs a groupthink mentality? Someone who has no fucking individuality, purpose, or power to do anything for themselves in life. They
That literally sounds like you. If not, it is you, to be honest with you.
need to be told what to do, so then they feel like they're doing something in a group. You know, like the Swifties who need to be part of a group. Well, you're part of the DSP hate mob. You're the same. You're not an individual. You're just one of a drop in a bucket of people who are nuts.
You could say the same thing for Dents. And given how many people who have been Dents who have spoken to Detractors over the years and whatnot, that kind of proves that too. Let alone that whole situation with that June the King documentary at the very end, with some of those people who could be assumed to be fans, what they said. I don't know, champ. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
And it's getting worse. And I have nothing to do with it. And one day,
but yet you're taking it in, you're paying attention to all of it, you're in the know, you have self-realization of what's going on around you, but you're not in it. So why give it all this energy then? Why entertain it? Womp womp.
something crazy is going to happen, and I'm not going to be involved with it. I've already disavowed all this shit. This is why so many people, why don't you just buy into it? Why don't you, be a part of it, engage your...
Because he can't. He doesn't know how to. Because here's the thing. They're profiting off of something and trying to control something are two separate things. And DSP can't tell the difference and whatnot. He may want to profit off of it for a little while, short term. But he's going to want control over it in the end. And he can't figure out how to do that. That's his problem. That's why he has to lump it all up, or you're seeing him lump it all up now, into a groupthink mentality. It's so, the mountain is just far too large to be able to conquer it. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's going about it the way he's going now. That's why he can't profit off of it. Or he can't lean into it, if you will. And he tried to, actually, to some extent, with Grill Phil, the Grill Phil segment or whatever. The problem was there is he wanted to profit off of it. When he couldn't profit off of it, then he tried to control it, thinking that he would be able to direct traffic and make it more profitable. He failed at that too. Womp womp.
Detractors, because I'm not going to be responsible, man. I'm not going to be responsible when this shit hits the fan.
Oh, so you were okay with being responsible for that pedophile Derek, but you're not going to be responsible for the trolling that allegedly anybody who deals with you is going to have to suffer, yet we don't hear any of them crying about it. We just hear you crying about it. But we'll defend that pedophile, though. We're good with that. We're good with going with the devil we know, right, Phil? We're good with defending that pedophile. Okay, fair enough. I guess.
I'm going to stay out of it. I'm like, I was doing my own thing. I was sitting here literally just playing a game.
You're on the internet. You're a public figure. People have a right to criticize you or critique you if they see fit. In the story. You're not exempt from that.
Chilling on a podcast, enjoying life, and they went off the deep end, and it wasn't me involved, you know? Every one of these people who do this shit are going to get exposed, and it ain't even going to be me who does it.
Oh, no. Isn't that the same thing that you told the Almighty Tevin in October of 2018, and then all of a sudden his fucking Twitch gets flagged? Now you're saying people are going to be doxxed, and it's not going to be your fault. It's going to be other people's fault. It's going to be other people's doing. Peep this. This is what I try to tell y'all. The way DSP does anything is the way he does everything.
Take a look at Super Crazy. The guy's fucking name was Super Crazy, and people were so dumb they gave the guy money because he said he was going to try to sue me for something he couldn't possibly sue me for because it was all a fairy tale fake.
So Super Crazy was lying to you about you purposely false flagging his video, which you admitted in a video that you did do it to try to teach him a lesson? Huh? Now, what Super Crazy did with the money is whatever he did with the money. I can't defend that, but then again, I don't know exactly what he did with it. What I do know is what his reasoning was not a fairy tale. You did that. Was it a bit presumptuous for him to go ahead and try to sue you? Yeah, it was. It wasn't exactly the best idea, to be honest. And yet, I still have a hard time dealing with that. Only because, not dealing with it, because I don't think about it that often, but given how his channel was going, to sit there and just turn his back on everybody over $3,000 fucking dollars or whatever it was seems ridiculous to me. But you know what I'm saying? I can't rationalize everything, so it is what it is. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You're gonna throw away your whole channel and everything that you were already doing and everything you could be doing over $3,000.
And they gave the guy thousands of dollars. Here's the first example of how this thing will continue on over time.
But that's funny, because if you were in the know and you were patched in, you would bring up the Soma Julius Cruz situation, but you won't because you don't know nothing about that. And I'm not going to help you on that either. Let's be honest. Only Iced Coffee ain't sat there and got a lot of mileage off of that whole to catch a pay pig thing, and I'm not going to contribute any further to that, which I told Super Crazy that while he was doing it back in a few years ago, too. It's funny how that came out right. But anyway, that's a whole nother story to be told by a much more competent detractor than myself.
These are just opportunists. They're not people who know what the fuck they're doing. They don't care about anyone in this community. They're just here to suck your money and time. They're like leeches, vipers, vampires. You don't get it.
Anything else?
No, you see, but that's the thing, Mortarian. It's not content. He says, but they're just enjoying content like people enjoy yours. But it's not content. It's non-tent.
Who actually gave you the right to define whether it's content or not? Because if you think about it, by definition, by the very nature of it, of what I'm doing right now, if what I do isn't content, then what he does isn't content. You can't go ahead and break that apart and say, oh, well, this is good and this isn't. If it's all rotten, if it's all bad, if it's all useless, if it's all non-tent, then it's all non-tent. Not just what you get to pick and choose. There's a difference. Now, I will admit this is slop content. By the definition of it, I will be the first one to tell you what I do is slop content. But then again, what he does is slop content too. So we're right there with that. So that's kind of weird, Phil, that I could be far more honest than you. That's strange. That's weird. For being the most honest person on the internet. Ah, yes, you were never really that anyway. So womp womp.
Mostly fabricated, mostly extrapolated.
Mostly fabricated. Oh, so it's not all an outright lie. Only some of it's an outright lie. So how does that work, Phil? So the stuff that is a lie you could try to explain away later and everything else was just for drama and views, don't worry, I'll wait.
Mostly over exaggerated. It's just not real. It's fake content every day.
How's it fake though when he just admitted that half of it is real, or half of it is truthful, or half of it does have a leg to stand? That's weird.
Phil farted on stream. Here's 17 videos about it.
I don't remember anybody making a video about you sharking. I mean, that happens to fucking what's his name? What's his name? Nick Rekieta. If this was a couple years ago, I would have remembered that off top. But yeah, if that happens to Nick Rekieta and fucking like Ethan Ralph a lot, but I don't remember anybody ever making a video on you on that. If they did, I didn't watch them, or I don't watch them, so maybe that's why I missed it.
That's not content. That's doofus level stuff. There's no validity to it.
How much validity does he have in what he does? If he'll sit there and rage quit a game, or wage quit it, sorry. He'll wage quit a game just because he doesn't hit $150 on one stream. How much validity does his content actually hold then under those circumstances? If he could give it up for so little money. Something to think about.
And it's toxic and it's not truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that they're saying is actually harmful content. Now, luckily, I've now been through it for so long that it doesn't really affect me.
Yet months later, he says he's going to want to sue them now. Huh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Roy did a $10 super chat. He says, most of these YouTubers never had a professional career before going into YouTube. They don't have morals, ethics, or understand any kind of etiquette. Feel pity for those people that are snakes. Feel pity for people that are snakes? I don't feel pity because I feel the people that are the snakes, the ones who are controlling these communities, are pretty underhanded scumbags.
Now, that right there was a great soundbite. Don't feel bad for them because they're pretty bad scumbags. This is coming from the same individual who admitted to snaking Kino Casino. So can he justify that and what he did there? So if I'm a bad person, if I have poor ethics and whatever, and I'm a snake, then what does that make him? When he came out and admitted to snaking a group of people and actually boasting about it. You don't do that too much now, though. Now, once he saw that the tides of people who were like, yo, that's fucked up what you did at Kino Casino, Phil, and once he couldn't beat them, let's reword that. Once they established themselves and Phil couldn't beat them, then all of a sudden, well, now we kind of back off of that snaking thing. Now we back off and say, oh, well, I did what I could. Or what they were doing for me was working until it stopped working, and then I had to break away from them. Just saying, those are things that he actually said. Womp womp.
Like they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like, oh, I stumbled into it, I didn't realize. No, they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't care. They have no morals. They have no values. I mean...
So it was okay. Holy shit, I'm going to bring that whole segment back. I'm not going to say anything until it's actually done. He admitted to basically snaking the Kino Casino, right? And why he thought he was justified or whatever. But now you get to actually hear his thoughts on what he thinks about people who did what he did.
Not truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that they're saying is actually harmful content.
Womp womp.
Now, luckily, I've now been through it for so long that it doesn't really affect me. You know what I'm saying? Roy did a $10 super chat. He says, most of these YouTubers never had a professional career before going into YouTube. They don't have morals, ethics, or understand any kind of etiquette. Feel pity for those people that are snakes. Feel pity for people that are snakes? I don't feel pity because I feel the people that are the snakes, the ones who are controlling these communities, are pretty underhanded scumbags. Like they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like, oh, I stumbled into it, I didn't realize. No, they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't care. They have no morals. They have no values. I mean, you've got Kino Casino, who, again, pretended to be friendly with me, which everyone knew was fake from the beginning, including me, and rode with content until it wasn't working anymore because they had no original ideas that would work and they had no clout to make anything happen. So they just went back to their old shtick of dumping on Phil.
Wait, but you sat there and rode that out. You were complicit in that. So how does that make you any better than them? Let me go a little bit further. Because that's what I do, right? Let's go a little bit further. Think about the Fotabi situation, okay? Or Lavera Media, right? Let's think about that. Let's go back to this. Okay, this is after his ass got dropped from Curse. So DSP says, actually, this is Fucking A, man. There's a Tevin did stream on this too back in the day too. Anyway, hear me out. Okay, so what happened is when DSP was presented with the contract from Laveria or Fotabi, he saw grammar errors, right, or mistakes. They didn't have the right URL on there. There was all kinds of there was all kinds of issues with the contract. So instead of signing, so he knew that the shit was bogus, but he wanted that managed partnership. So he either signed up KO Gaming or King of Hate Vlogs and signed the contract linking that channel, one of those channels to it, not the main one, and then decided to ride that out. SOK exposes everything to be a sham, a fake, and a fraud, which DSP says in the comment day that didn't happen. It was bullshit. They lied about it. But he ain't sucked their dick early on in this broadcast, so keep that in mind. And DSP said, oh, well, I knew that everything was bogus. I knew everything was fake, but I wanted to see if they would give me the managed partnership. And if they didn't give me the managed partnership, then I would use all the errors that were in the contract to let myself out. So he knew he was being conned. He took advantage of it to see if he could get what he wanted out of it. When he realized he couldn't, then he used those same issues and problems in that contract to get himself out of it, which really didn't happen. It was really SOK that got him out of that contract. How was that not malicious, predatory, or whatever? Yeah, you're being conned, right? For sure. But you conned them too. You played along with it. And here's the thing. It shows you how retarded the Phil is. If you knew the contract was bogus, what the fuck made you think that they were going to give you a managed partnership? So it doesn't matter that they didn't, that he didn't link his main channel to it. How were they going to give him a managed partnership off of what he is admitting here? Well, what he has admitted in the past, I'm sorry. What is a bogus contract? How does that make sense? And he's still an idiot for trying it. Would it have been worth losing KO Gaming or King of Hate Vlogs over that? Something to think about.
But that was their plan from day one, was always capitalize on the detractors. That literally was their plan day one. They even said it in the fucking DMs that you guys can publicly read. Said it over and over. We're going to get these detractors. We're going to get their money. We're going to get their views. They've said it since day one.
And you benefited from it too. So don't try to give any morals or values behind the shit now. You were complicit in all of this. You were a willing collaborator. So you can fuck all with all that.
Yet right now, those detractors are so stupid, they're watching casino content.
Maybe because it's entertaining, and not everybody does. So that's a thing too. Because I can't remember who. There's like a handful of detractors that don't fuck with Kino Casino for one reason or another. So you can't say that every detractor's in on that. So womp womp.
And they're giving them money. That's how dumb they are. It literally in black and white was exposed that this was their plan all along, to milk them, and they're saying, okay, let's be milked.
Actually, the reality is, I would say that the PWR situation is far more egregious than the Kino Casino thing, but that's just me, though. That's just me. There was something about that PWR situation that never sounded right and whatnot, so I'm gonna leave that. I let them have their fun and whatnot. People got entertainment out of it for what it was for as long as they did, but you know, it is what. And that, let's be honest, PWR was nothing more than a pawn on the board. You know what I'm saying? He was just another piece on the board to use against Phil. So if you look at it from that standpoint, maybe it's not so egregious, but that's all it was. He was never going to be anything more than that.
That's what I mean. When I call these people dumb, they really are. Like, there's no self-awareness there to realize this was the scam all along, and you're just falling for it hook, line, and sinker. They're that stupid.
If that was the case, then why didn't you stay on longer so you could benefit from it? Makes you think. Actually, I can explain to you. Actually, I can tell you why that is. Because he couldn't get detractors, trolls, haters, and critics to buy in on the Grill Phil segment on Smart Guys. That's the reason why he gave up on it after that. And the reason why that is because he still felt like he had control over Smart Guys, even though PPP was really the draw. He thought he would have control over it. And when he found out that he didn't, and really people only gave a shit about PPP, then he decided to go ahead and dissolve everything.
You don't even know what you're saying. I'm just gonna get rid of these idiots who just, again, people are so dumb. They say the dumbest shit. So there's no point in even addressing what they're saying. If you were just given all of these logs and you read through them and you came to these conclusions and you're that stupid, I'm not going to waste time addressing you. Really? Like, holy shit. But anyway, the point I'm making, and this is the only point I'm making, the hate watching is what I don't understand, because the hate watching is why there's a vortex. If people were just smart enough to say, all right, I really don't like DSP for these reasons, and if you have valid reasons, good for you, I'm going to stay away from him, and if there ever is some kind of a downfall because it's exposed that some of the things we've accused him of were real, then I'll come back and I'll enjoy the downfall. Instead of, I literally sit there every day watching people restream, make toxic videos, I throw them money, I donate constantly. Even though the people have publicly said they're doing it just to milk me, I'm too stupid to care. I still throw the money because I'm that much of a dunce, because I enjoy hating DSP. Do you not understand that's mental illness? It is. Sorry.
So is it mental illness when he hates on other people then? It's funny how you can justify, or he can justify, I should say, the reasoning why he does what he does. And yet, when people do it to him, these guys have to be mentally ill. These people have to have a problem with him. But he's literally done the same thing. And in most cases, he's gone beyond that. So I'm thinking about.
Again, go talk to anyone outside of your vortex about what you're doing. Tell them exactly what you're doing on a daily basis and see how they react to you. It's not going to be, that sounds like fun. Can I join? It's going to be like, what? Like, the fuck are you talking about? You need help right now. Please, let's go talk to someone. This is what you're doing with your day. But the problem is, so many people now, your entire existence is online, right? You do have
this idiot have any type of realization of what the fuck he's talking about? He spends like something up to like 16 hours a day online. You know what I'm saying? Between the bullshit content that he calls content, and then fucking stalking people on Twitter and on Twitch, right? As well as being on the forums and so on and so forth. But he wants to say that other people are chronically online. Okay.
Outside life outside of your home. And that's how you portray yourself to the people you need to interact with on a daily basis. But then you come home and the entirety of your life is online. So you don't have anyone in the real world who actually deals with real shit that matters to tell you to stop. And we have these entire insane communities and cults online doing fucked up, underhanded shit.
Now, when's the last time DSP called his parents just to see how they're doing and not beg for money? Who does he have as a friend, keep that in mind, as a friend that he can reach out to and talk to about anything? Huh. How's his wife doing? Why'd she put on all that weight? Why did you prevent her from going to the gym? Why did you break that exercise bike? Why doesn't she have any friends to socialize with? I'll wait.
And there's no one who's looking at it. There's no one who's policing it.
Oh, now you have to police people for having an opinion about you, or anything for that matter. We need to be policed because we have an opinion. Okay. Okay. I guess we must have forgot about that Sopa and Pippa thing, huh, Phil?
It's wild. We have so many checks and balances and laws and things in place in the real world, and we have nothing online to stop this madness. Nothing. Like I said, this has been the wildest thing for me. 17 years as a creator, and I've seen content creation change a billion times. So many times. At first, it was this ultimate positivity, so much happiness that anyone would even make content at all because it was all free and it was like a really cool thing.
Now, keep in mind, it's the same person who still shitted on other content creators, by the way. He started a lot of this shit. But now he's sitting here trying to paint it as, oh, it was just a happy utopia and shit, and no one had a problem with anybody, and no one ever tore down anybody until this is how you don't play, apparently. I guess.
That people would dedicate their time because no one was making money doing it. So thank you so much, right? And then all of a sudden...
But that's a lie, though, because DSP had a PayPal, and he was siphoning money to his PayPal to buy games and shit before he could actually get paid through Google AdSense. And then you saw how quickly he fucked that up.
Sudden, it became a pissing contest on who was going to put out the content first, who was going to make the best content.
This is the same person who went to every 24-hour release, who tried to play games as fast as possible, this, that, and the third. He did this purposely. He walked into this doing this. Now he's trying to say that the business itself, which wasn't a business, it was supposed to be for fun, but somehow it became a business. Now, because of the business, it required him to do this. He was forced to do this. It wasn't like he just started doing this. He's always been doing this. He was forced to.
Because all of a sudden monetization came into play and it became a cutthroat dog-eat-dog world. So then it became, hey, your content sucks. No, your content sucks. No, your content sucks. And everyone just started toxically attacking each other.
Wow.
And then it became, well, since now there's money in it, we're going to come in with production value. Instead of it being people who have passion, it's now people who come into it just to make money. So I come in with a budget and I come in.
So wait a second. So what is all this bullshit around you then, right? Didn't you pay all this for upgrades and shit? Wasn't this to better your production? Do we not understand what we're saying, or are we not paying attention? Do we just let this shit mindlessly come out of our fucking mouths and then we can't take any responsibility for any of it later? Fascinating. Absolutely fucking fascinating.
With a team and we all make this content together, this produced content. And then all the content online started becoming fake. And then people started realizing that drama sells and content became less about passion and positivity and fun or being a guru or an authority on a subject or an expert. And instead it became, how do I destroy other people for profits?
You're not an expert at anything and you weren't a guru in anything. Actually, what he's referring back to, by the way, is you could back in early YouTube, you could categorize yourself in just about anything. You still can theoretically, but you know what I mean? Well, no, you actually can't, because you can only put yourself in either like entertainment, gaming, and finances. You know what I mean? Well, back in the day, you could literally throw yourself in any category, if you will. But then again, the category was far more, it was a lot smaller back in those days. Anyway, DSP used to check himself in all those boxes. He's not a guru in shit. He's not an expert in nothing. Just like apparently more fucking A, bro. Mutahar isn't either, which is kind of wild to be honest with you. But yet again, it is what it is on that. Anyway, DSP was not an expert, or he wasn't a guru, or he wasn't any of those things. He didn't fall in any of those categories, but YouTube allowed him to do so, which is what allowed him to have the reach that he did. So DSP had been playing and or taking advantage of the system since damn near Jump Street. So who was he to accuse anybody of anything? And the very things that he says that made YouTube bad, or ended up leading to YouTube's air quotes downfall, he himself is a practitioner in. He actually was actively involved in those things. But we're talking about people's moral compass. We're talking about being honest. We're talking about not trying to take advantage or lie or being dishonest to people. Okay.
Since now there's money in it, we're going to come in with production value. Instead of it being people who have passion, it's now people who come into it just to make money. So I come in with a budget and I come in with a team and we all make this content together, this produced content. And then all the content online started becoming fake. And then people started realizing that drama sells and content became less about passion and positivity and fun or being a guru or an authority.
You can tell he doesn't believe in any of this shit himself. That's why he keeps shutting his eyes the way he does. That's when he's being insincere, amongst other things. Like, he's not even believing his own bullshit. Wild. Absolutely wild.
Authority on a subject or an expert, and instead it became, how do I destroy other people for profits? And it's just, I could go through a 17-year history of how crazy stuff has gone over this time period and how it's changed. And now we are where we are, and it's the most toxic of all right now, because now
he won't do that. And he won't do that because, one, he's the lead of a lot of his history, or not a lot, but he's the lead of most of his history. Two, there are definitely going to be people that are coming and correct him, which just makes him out to be a liar and a hypocrite. Three, he would actually have to face the stuff that he's done, and he's not man enough to do that. He's not man enough to do that. If you go back and watch his reaction to the June the King documentary, he was looking squeamish during some of that shit. Some of that shit was coming across absolutely squeamish. So, yeah, he's not about that life.
Now it's been bank on hurting people. That is the way to get ahead. Even the biggest creators are scammers.
And he's been saying that for years. And he wonders why no one wants to talk to him. He wonders why no one wants to deal with him. He wonders why no one wants to give him a chance. These are people who've done nothing to him. They haven't hurt him. They haven't even spoken on him. And he's got the nerve to run around and call him scammers. Name one time that you could think of that Maximilian ever said shit about DSP. One thing. Just one. Dig deep. Oh, wait.
Guys like fucking Mr. Beast and Logan Paul. Crypto scam. Fooling the audience into buying autographs that aren't real. Buy junk food Lunchables. It's the most fucked up thing. And
so wait a second. So DSP Tries It isn't a fucking scam? Obviously. You fucking selling fucking empty video game not selling, sorry. You doing giveaways for fucking game boxes wasn't a scam? And don't even bring up that PS4 situation. You mean that hand-me-down bullshit that you got for Panda. Panda didn't want it, so you decided to just get rid of it, which is ironic because you ended up having to buy her a PS4 later on. She didn't want the PS4 at the time he offered it to her or bought it for her, because there was a game that she was waiting for and it wasn't out yet, so she didn't see the use in it, which that's not really smart if you're doing all that just to wait on a game. You just hold on to the system until the game comes out. Whatever. So there's that. And then I don't know if there's any real proof that he bought that console or if it was just given to him by Machinima, which Machinima passed around a bunch of consoles back in those days. He still has some of them. He has a couple special edition, or at least one, special edition Xbox 360, which I'm pretty sure it was the Machinima branded one, to be honest. But they gave out a bunch of different consoles back in those days and shit. For all we know, the PS4 that he had, he didn't buy it. It was just an extra one that they gave him, and he decided to give it away. But who could say? That's a whole nother topic for another day.
the thing is, people are just not smart enough to actually see this stuff for what it is. They just eat it up. Digest, you know. But again, in the real world, outside of the internet, there's checks, balances, laws, and things to protect you from this kind of shit. On the internet, there's nothing. Again, in 20 years, life has changed so much as we become a digital society that a guy like me, who literally...
Now, keep in mind, this guy has been living chronically on the internet since his teens. He's no better. And he still does. That's the reality of it. He's sitting there trying to criticize something that he himself is still actively doing. That whole thing about him being up till 4 o'clock in the morning every goddamn day, seeing what people are saying about him on the internet, is something that he still does.
He just sits here and just makes gaming content. And that's all I wish to do. Make gaming content, hang out with my audience.
So DSP Tries It, TV reviews, movie reviews, political, talking about political content. What was all that?
Maybe branch out to some other interests like wrestling or whatever it may be, right? All that stuff. That's all I ever wanted to do. Never wanted to hurt anyone. Never wanted to do drama. Never wanted to...
So you harassing John for multiple years on end. You fucking over Howard and try to put dirt on his name. You fucking over Respect the Pack by not paying them. And then lying to John and Howard and say they never wanted money.
Change. Just let me be. Leave me alone. No. How dare this man actually be successful and survive doing that content? Unacceptable. We must attack. We must deride. We must, do everything we can to be toxic and hurt him, and that we can...
I thought you said you've gone through this for so long it doesn't bother you. Sounds like it bothers you to me.
Benefit from it. Ridiculous.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, it's time to end the show. As you can see, once again, whenever I do feel like I want to address some of this stuff, nothing comes of it. So, because again, no one listens to the guy who's in the center of it, who understands it the best, because your narrative is that I'm a fucking idiot. So why would you...
You are a fucking idiot. Like, your whole handling of this whole situation, or this segment, let's call it that. Your whole handling of this segment's terrible, because the very people you're trying to appeal to, and ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to appeal to his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. How are you going to do that by calling them idiots? How are you going to sit there and try to appeal to their audiences by saying that they're being fleeced, that they're sheeple, that they're stupid, that they are being taken advantage of, and they're too dumb to realize it? How is that appealing Or how is that going to give them a reason or want them to give you a chance to listen to your narrative? If you're starting off by putting them down, what sense does that make? When I call a dent, I mean it. I don't care whether they hear me out or not. They're not who I'm trying to appeal to. So it doesn't matter to me either which way. But you, on the other hand, you're desperate to grasp onto whatever little you can get. And it's becoming less and less by the day. Oh, well, I just thought I'd point it out.
Listen to the guy who literally sees it happening around him and understands every aspect of it.
Understands every aspect of it, but can't stop it, can't appeal to it, can't get into a conversation and try to work things out. I guess he doesn't understand what understanding means, I suppose.
No one gives a shit. You just want to keep having the wool pulled over your eyes and treated like a child and getting sucked on while the vampires are drinking your blood. You want it to keep going? I guess have a nice life being sucked on. I don't know what else to say. No one else is going to do anything but you. You're the only one who can take the initiative to be like, fuck, this is a disgusting circle that I'm involved in. Let me just break free from it. I'm not even saying break free from it and watch my content and enjoy it. I'm just saying break free from it all. Turn off your goddamn computer. Turn off your phone. Get this shit out of here. Get a life. This is not healthy. All right. It's time to end the show, everyone. It's been a great week. By the way, we're a third of the way to the goal. Let's hope that we can hit this goal during Assassin's Creed. I really hope we do. I want to do the DSP Tries It today, but basically, here's the deal.
Begging for food. After all that bullshit, after all that nonsense about people getting a life, do better, be better, this, that, and the third, we come back to him begging for food. We come back to begging for food. Here's the reality. You can dislike me all you want. I'm cool with that and whatnot, but this is what you're defending. Remember that at the end of the day. You can, like I said, you can dislike me all you want. You can dislike what other people who do what I do, or similar to it, I should say. But this is what you're defending. This shit is wild. That shit is absolutely wild that anybody with any rational thought would try to defend this. Some e-beggar online begging for food, who has a refrigerator downstairs and a freezer that's full, and yet we're still begging for food. Take that into consideration.
So my wife will be home in about 90 minutes. So we have about 90 minutes to hit the goal. But
and she's so useless that she can't cook something, or not even cook something. She can't heat something up for you guys. We're begging for food. I want you to think about that. That's literally what we're doing here. We're begging for food.
$100 in support. And if we do that, we'll order, we're good. If not, we're not doing it today. We're going to wait till next week. And that would suck because I want to work on new goals for next week at this point. It would be great to have momentum going into the new week feeling fresh. So thanks to those who did actually support the stream. I appreciate that. And now let's jump into AC Shadows, all right? And just a quick reminder,
Yeah, you can shut that shit the fuck up. Okay. So there we go. Oh, there's a lot more that came out of that than I thought. But wow, bro, that's... Yeah. You decided to end all of that bullshit, all that LARPing, all that nonsense that you decided to spew. You decided to end that with begging for food. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. I gotta tell you, that's ugly. That's really, really fucking ugly. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That shit is tough. Holy shit. Oh man, that's something. I don't even know what to really call that, but that's something. Well, I guess the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, as stupid as a stupid does. Stupid as a stupid does. A hypocrite's always going to be a hypocrite. I've given you a plethora of examples why no one takes DSP seriously and why they'll never take him seriously, to be honest. And to be honest with you, for someone who accuses other people of being carpetbaggers, predators, morally dubious, if not just immoral people, this, that, and the third, I think I've shown you enough examples here, as I'm sure any detractor, troll, hater, or critic has this week at the very least, let alone, in the last 48 hours or so, have shown that he's very much, he's right there. You know what I'm saying? He's right there. You know what I mean? And his social ineptitudes on trying to shit on the very people that you're trying to appeal to never made any sense to me. That's just I'll never be able to understand that, because that doesn't make any sense. How are you gonna, if I call you people assholes, pieces of shit, nudniks, fuckwads, whatever, whatever, what makes me think that any of you will ever hear me out? You know what I mean? I'm not saying agree with me. I'm just saying just to hear me out, just to allow me to be heard. How is that a thing? How is that even possible? No one's going to sit there and let someone down talk them and then give them a fair shake or just a shot to be heard. That's just unreasonable. Unless they're going to do it just so they can pick it apart later. And truth be told, I've already given you half of the fucking clip under reasonable circumstances. So that'll never make any sense. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Just another day in Goutopia as far as I'm concerned. Fascinating listen though. So I'm glad that I'm going to be working through some of these older clips that I haven't gone through yet, because who knows what other treasures we'll find. But yeah, just wild shit. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. Fascinating stuff, bro. Fascinating stuff. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. This has been DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes. The GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, SnortBucks Coffee Company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons, I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. I'm going to go through some of my fucking Battlefield footage. I need to I need to deflate from all this bullshit for a second. Holy shit. Take care of yourself, people. Later.